What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Shadowkin champion, Chonaru. Thought it would be kind of a cool idea to do a video on her, mainly because we were in our Raid Discord in our clan chat, and one of my clanmates, he's currently going by the name What If Coyote, usually goes by some variation of Coyote. We all change our names in Discord quite a lot and have a little fun with it, but that's the current iteration of his name. And he was talking about how he hadn't really seen anybody talking about this champion. I think, as far as I know, there's only one other video out on her, and I believe Mad Capper did a I built it so you didn't have to, which I'll link down below in the first comment so you can go check that out, because Mad Capper, more of an in-game player than I am, definitely probably do a better job showcasing her, so you probably want to check that video out as well, because I'm only going to be talking about her specifically in one area, mainly in this video for where I think she really excels. But she's a Shadowkin champion. She's been out for a while, and I do remember when she originally came out, I did want to talk about her. I just kind of slipped my mind. She's got a really interesting kit, can do some pretty solid damage, and is a spirit champion. We're going to just doing some arena matches here as I'm pushing early in the week. It's early week arena, so nothing special here. But the one thing that's going to struggle for her right now in arena is that there's not really a lot of force champions out there on defense, and she is a spirit champion, so that's kind of where she does excel, is going against those force champions. You're seeing a lot of magic on defense, a lot of void, and she's going to weak hit quite a bit against the magic champions, which is kind of unfortunate because I think her kit is really kind of neat. Her A3 is pretty cool, and it does hit pretty hard, and basically whenever you get kills with it, it does reset the cooldown. And that's why the specific area we're actually going to talk about her in is going to be campaign farming, which I think a lot of people will be surprised about. A lot of people will immediately go for Fellhound, they'll go for Queen Ava. I personally use Saurus, and I use Ithos and Nightmare Campaign. Ithos can also farm regular Brutal 12-3 if you want to put him in there. But for the most part, I usually just use Saurus, and I think Saurus is one of the easier options to build because he is an uncommon champion, and you are able to book him up very easily, whereas a lot of the other champions need more books, they need gear, they're legendaries, they're epics, they're rares in some cases. So it can be a little bit more difficult there, but we're mainly going to be showing her in that capacity. We're going to be taking her into 12-3 Brutal, doing a couple of runs there so you guys can see it. I did manage to get it down to about 8 seconds, which I think is pretty impressive. And the reason I think that's kind of cool is because currently Chonaru is actually a champion that they're giving to new players, and a lot of the promo codes that some of the YouTubers and some of the streamers are giving out. Now, this is not something you would get from any of the Raid content creators. It's actually basically any type of sponsored stream or sponsored YouTube video right now that Raid is doing. I believe I've seen a lot of them giving out, whatever their creator code is that you would go and use your starter account. They're giving away, I believe, Chonaru now as an epic champion to start the game, along with some of the other rewards that you do get with her. Kind of a funny one here. We actually did try this team because they had all force champions, and then we kind of get screwed because we blocked the revive, I believe, the first time on the brackets, and then that actually sets us up to get their entire team basically revived after we nuked them the first time, so it's kind of funny. But anyways, let's jump into Chonaru's kit. We'll take a look at the gear I have on her, and then we'll go into 12-3 and do a little bit of farming so you guys can kind of see how she does excel there. Alright guys, here we are now back in the champion roster. We have Chonaru pulled up here, and as I mentioned, she is in the Shadowkin faction, and her design certainly does capture that aesthetic pretty well. She's got these twin swords, looks really cool. Just overall a very neat looking champion. And as I did mention, she is a champion that they are giving out for free right now for a lot of new accounts if you're using a code, I believe, that you can get from any of the new sponsored YouTubers or people on Twitch that are streaming. I don't know of the code, I just know that some people do have it out there, and she is one of the newer champions being offered for free when you sign up to play the game, so that's pretty cool. Now, my Chonaru is kind of in her old build. This is like basically just her ragtag gear thrown on her that I had on her before. And we can just take a look at her stats real quick. Nothing is crazy impressive here. Her attack is kind of good at 4,200. She's at 210 speed, mainly so she can go before the waves on 12-3. Now, you notice here crit rate, I don't even have her capped because this is my old build on her, and I was going for as much crit damage as I could. Unfortunately, did not get enough good crit chance rolls, so at some point I am going to have to rebuild her. Her accuracy is also pretty low, and the reason for that is I did throw on an attack banner just for this campaign farming. Now, if I was going to be using her in any general use, like when Shadowkin Faction Wars comes back around, I would switch her back into this accuracy banner, and then probably rebuild her a little bit to get some accuracy in her kick. She does have some debuffs that she can land that would be useful if you are going to try to use her in Faction Wars. Taking just a real quick look at her kit, the A1 does have a chance to block buffs. The A2 does attack 3 times at random. This hits really hard if you can get it to just hit on one person. And this also does place a weaken debuff, but this is really good to use against like a single target. It can do quite a bit of damage there. But the ability we really want to talk about is this Lay Bear, which removes all increased defense buffs from all enemies, then attacks all enemies. Now, it decreases the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn for every enemy that it kills. So basically, it's on a 3-turn cooldown. If you are using her in the campaign, you'll see that you'll kill everyone basically, and then it will reset the ability for the next wave, and that's what allows her to farm pretty effectively there. Taking a look at her masteries here, we kind of went for a lot of damage basically because we were using her in arena for a little while just to have some fun, and anytime I do take a champion into arena, I try to take some of the more arena friendly masteries there. And then if we are going to use her in other content, we've got some from the support tree to kind of help her land those debuffs. But obviously in this build, this is a campaign farming build, and we would have to retool her a little bit to get some accuracy back into this build in order to allow her to land a lot of those debuffs. But let's go ahead and take her into the campaign, which is where we wanted to showcase her. Again, I always like to take a look at the Great Hall so you guys can see that, and she is a spirit champ. You can see my spirit part of the Great Hall is not great, but it's okay. Crit damage obviously is going to help her out. Attack would help her out as well, and then accuracy also. But that's just going to kind of give you a look at where we are there, so you can kind of see where some of those bonus stats are coming from. But let's go ahead and just jump right into 12.3. I think she's probably already set up here and ready to go. Now, of course, when I did this off recording, she was getting anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. So obviously when I do try to do it live for the video, she's probably going to fail. But you can see there, resetting that Lay Bear, basically getting those big hits there. And of course, here she goes. She's going to fail the very first run and take 13 seconds instead of the best time she had before, which was 8. But we'll give her another shot here. We'll just go ahead and run it till, there you go. So when she gets that first entire wave down, that's pretty much a good sign that you're going to be able to do it. But there you can see she actually did trigger that ability twice. And there you go. So there's a 10-second run. Pretty solid. And like I said, not too hard to build her to be able to do this. So if you're an early player in the game and you do have some decent gear laying around, you could probably get similar results. Probably not this low of a time, but if you can get your early game farming down, around 20 seconds or 15 seconds or something like that, with a champion like this that you're going to get for free, meaning you really don't have to build anybody else. You can see there, unfortunately, kind of a bad run there, 15 seconds. So far, she's not doing me any favors here by living up to what I got before. That's really where it comes down to it, is if you do just get that little bit of health left on some of these enemies and she's not able to finish them off. There you go, 10 seconds. And that's pretty much where it looks like she's going to top out for us here. But still pretty impressive, especially out of a champion that not a lot of people really expect it from or talk about. But that A3 that she has, where she just resets that attack, is actually really cool there. So you can see there, 10 seconds. And we could load her up with some food as well, just to kind of show you it's basically the same thing. But if you are wanting to do some farming and load her up with a couple of food champions, you'll be able to do the same thing like you can do with your Saurus or your Queen Ava, whoever you're using for your campaign farming. She is going to get the 2 turns there, and it's nice she resets that cooldown, so she's able to hit pretty big. Now, what I don't understand is sometimes she will lead off with the her A. I think it's her A2 that she leads off with sometimes. I actually had gone in and programmed her AI so she wouldn't do that. But most of the time she's going to try to take out everybody with that Lay Bear unless it's not on cooldown. But if you're killing 3 or 4 every single wave, you can see there. Well, there you go right there. See, she came out, unfortunately, with that A1 instead of, or the A2 instead of using the A3 for some odd reason. But you can see there 9 seconds. So that's kind of what I was talking about. Anywhere between 8 and 10 seconds. If you're fortunate enough, sometimes there'll be an outlier run of 13 to 15 seconds. But for the most part, she does a pretty good job It is pretty solid at farming 12-3. I believe, like I said, if you can get her in some pretty decent gear, you'd probably rather have her in some cooler savage gear. Like I said, I have terrible luck in the Fire Knight, so most of my nuker champs that I'm building are usually having to go with a broken set build because I don't get a lot of good savage drops, and most of my best savage gear, I believe, has gone to champions like my Cold Heart, so they can be doing more damage in the dungeons. I did try out a couple dungeons. She's decent against the waves. We'll throw a Dragon 25 screenshot up here because it is the Force Affinity, but she's nothing special really there. You're going to find champions that can do her job just as well, probably with better results, especially in some of those tougher dungeons. But early in the game, she can probably help you out against the Force Affinity, depending on which dungeon you are going against, and probably pretty good in the Doom Tower as well, since she does have the AoE attack and that weaken on the A2. If you can get that to hit at multiple enemies at once, it's pretty good. But overall, pretty interesting champion. I was, pretty surprised when I first got her and found out she was able to farm campaign this effectively, which is pretty cool. And like I said, since she is a new champion that a lot of new players are going to be getting for free, I just thought I would do this kind of neat little spotlight showing where they could use her and have a little bit of fun with her. Again, shout out to my clanmate, currently going by the name What If Coyote, who kind of reignited this idea in my mind. I had wanted to showcase Chonaru a long time ago when she did come out, and I thought her kit was pretty cool. But definitely thanks to him for kind of rekindling that and having a little discussion. So I was like, oh, cool. I can go back and make a quick highlight video on her just to kind of show what she's able to do. And as I said down below, be sure to check out Madcapper's video on her. He goes into a lot more depth using her in a lot of different other areas. He's also a much more experienced in-game player than me, so he can kind of give you that insight on her as well. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave them down below. I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.